Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am revealing, I am sharing, I am dissecting my signature sales call framework that has helped so many of my clients, hundreds of clients, close sales calls for the first time ever. So, if you are a newbie at sales calls, or if you haven't done them in a while, or you are doing sales calls and they're not converting, I'm going to share with you my entire process on how you can start closing your sales calls. And so, if you haven't checked out my video or my podcast episode on why you should be doing sales calls, make sure to listen to that because that will showcase the importance on why you want to be learning this skill. Okay, let's dive in. So, when I hear a lot of people talk about sales calls, they imagine this long 14-part script, right? Where it says, okay, introduce yourself. Okay, say this next. Okay, say that next. They put this robotic script into their sales calls and then they wonder why it's not converting. So, I'll first tell you why those 14-part scripts do not convert. Number one, you sound like a robot. You do not sound like yourself. It's like all the conversational skills that you learned throughout your adulthood literally went out the window. It's because you're following the strict script that has no personality for yourself and it's not custom to the client. So, how I always like to teach this is I want you to think about a bank teller. I want you to think about going to the bank or if you have to call customer service anywhere and speak to a representative. So, do you know those prompts on the phone where it says, okay, to speak to a representative, select number one, or say your problem in 5 words or less, and we will route you to the nearest person. And then you say it, and then it has like another set of prompts, and then another set of prompts, or you have to click 4, and then click 3, and then click 2, and then click star. And you're wondering, can I just speak to a representative? Can I just speak to a real human? That is how it feels on the other side when you are doing a 14-part script. It feels tight, it feels restrictive, it doesn't feel specific to what the person is actually going through. So that is why I am not a fan of scripts. And I'll tell you a little bit of a horror story. I remember when I was trying to help my friend decide if she should move forward with this one like blog VA that she was thinking about hiring because she has a blog. And so I said, yeah, I'll hop on the sales call. So I hopped on the sales call with her to help her make a decision. And I kid you not, she was sharing her screen and we could see the script on the corner of her Zoom screen. We could literally see the script that she was reading off of. And it just felt so robotic. It felt so impersonal. And we found out, we were like, hey, you might want to move your screen. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Right. And in that moment where she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, it was the first time it felt like we were actually speaking to a real human. And so scripts are not the way that you want to be closing your sales calls. Instead, here's my signature way that you can close your sales calls and start converting more. So the main way I want you to think about this is I want you to start selling like a social worker. So this is the same process that I use inside of my social work practice where I was a social worker for many years. I worked with students, I worked in the nonprofit space, I worked in prisons, and I had to learn very quickly how to capture somebody's attention and how to build trust with someone. I had to learn how to do this with a stranger who maybe didn't want to talk to me, who was maybe forced to talk to me. I had to learn how to build trust with them, or I couldn't refer them out or connect them to a service or a resource that I knew that they needed. So I had to get them to tell the truth right away with me. And that is not easy to do, but that was a skill that I learned how to do as a social worker and what I put inside of my sales calls now that was able to convert so much better than any script. So I want you to sell like a social worker or anybody in the helping professions. So here are the 3 steps. Number 1, triage. Number 2, treatment plan. And then number 3, tell the offer. So you have triage, treatment plan, tell the offer. So when you are triaging, I want you to think about the doctor. I want you to think about the doctor or the nurse. And I want you to think about how the doctor goes through all of the symptoms. They check your vitals. They check how you're doing and how long have you had the symptoms and is your mucus yellow or is it green? I know that was a little gross, but like they figure out exactly what is wrong with you. Where's the pain? Is it dull or is it sharp? They figure out the symptoms first before they even start talking about the solution and the offer. offer. So what I see so many people do on sales calls is they go straight into, okay, well, here's how I can help you and here's what you need to do and I've been able to do this. You don't want to do that. You first want to start the call with understanding the client's problem. So you're going to greet the client, you're going to say hello, and then you're going to start asking several questions. And you're going to do this for at least 50% of the call. That's right. You want to be triaging the client for at least 50% of the call. That is a long time to be asking questions. But on the other side of it is when you spend all that time asking questions, you're finally going to be able to get to the root of their problems and then the root of their desires. So inside of my program, 5-Figure Freedom, we tell you what type of questions to be answering. We tell you what type of questions to be asking. We tell you to ask these questions during this part and then ask these questions during this part. And then we get really specific on when you need to pivot to another question or when you've gone too far down in a rabbit hole. But generally, you want to just make sure that you ask your clients what are their problems and then what are their desires. You want to get as specific and as clear with those questions and the desires. And then when they answer questions, you're then going to ask an additional follow-up question after that. So many people just say, okay, you want to lose 20 pounds. Great. Next question. Instead, you want to say, okay, you want to lose 20 pounds. Have you been able to do that in the past? How long have you been trying to lose 20 pounds? What have you been doing that hasn't been working to lose the 20 pounds? What methods have you been trying to lose the 20 pounds? How have you been feeling as you're trying to lose the 20 pounds? Are you frustrated? Are you anxious? Do you see how I'm trying to understand the problem as deeply as I possibly can? Again, you're not just asking one question and then jumping on and moving to another one. You want to make sure you're getting as intimate as possible with addressing that question. So you want to triage the client and get as clear and as specific as you can. You then want to give them a treatment plan. So the treatment plan is the thing that changes the game. Because again, so many times people will say, okay, what's your problem? All right, now join my program. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I need you to specifically tell me what we're going to do in this program or in this service. So you want to give a treatment plan. Again, I'm keeping up with my doctor social work analogies. So the treatment plan is 3 signature things that you're going to help the client be able to do. So you're going to say, all right, here are your problems, here are your desires from what I learned in the triage section. Now in the treatment plan, here are the 3 things that we're going to be able to do. I'm going to help you with your meal planning, I'm going to help you with exercise, and then I'm going to help you with your travel and vacations to make sure that the plan doesn't go out of whack. You're going to be able to be consistent. So that treatment plan is so important. Because if you've ever gotten the I'll think about it objection, or I'm going to need a minute to sit on it, or even if the client did say yes, and then they're going to have to end the call, get their wallet out, and then pay for the invoice after the call is over, the treatment plan is the thing that saves you. The treatment plan will be the thing that they remember when they're paying the invoice, when they're telling their partner, hey, I'm going to enroll in this thing. I'm going to sign up for this thing. Here's how it's going to help me. Here's how it's going to help our family. The treatment plan is going to be the thing that they cling onto when they're following through on the buyer's decision. So many times people say, Dielle, my sales calls aren't closing, or I'm getting a lot of false yeses, or people are excited and then they don't follow through. It's because when they think about that treatment plan after the sales call is over, and you may not even have a treatment plan, right? But even if you do attempt this process and you have a treatment plan, the treatment plan has to be so clear and it has to be so good and it has to be so enticing that they feel so compelled that, oh yes, this person's going to help me with these 3 things. They feel so compelled even after the sales call. So it's so important to make sure that you have a treatment plan and that you have that piece so that they remember exactly what they're getting when they go up to sign up for your program. And then after you deliver the treatment plan, you then are going to tell them the offer. I can't tell you how many times I hear that people will end the sales call. The person is right there on the call. You're right there on the call. Everybody who needs to make a decision is right there on the call. And then the person will be like, okay, so I'll send you a proposal and I'll send you a quote with everything that's included and you can make your decision from there. No way, Jose. You want to make sure that you are telling them all the details of the offer right there on the call. You want to tell them the price. You want to tell them what's included. You want to tell them the structure of the offer and everything that's in there, how long it is, all the components on the sales call. You want to make sure any questions they have about the price, any questions they have about what's included, any questions they have about the offer, you want to make sure it's included right on the sales call. Again, I can't tell you how many sales are wasted because they get an invoice or they get a quote 3 weeks after the sales call happened. They forgot what you said, they forgot who you are, they forgot all those elements, and then they probably moved on. What if that's no longer their problem, or what if they have a different problem and you miss out on the sale? So you want to make sure you're telling them everything about the offer after you break down the treatment plan. It is so, so important. I was planning my event, and one of the vendors, we hopped on this hour-long sales call. We talk about the vision of the event and what I need done. And then they said, okay, so I'll send you an invoice and I'll send you a proposal after the call is over. I was like, did we really just hop on an hour-long call and I, as the buyer, still don't have all the information? If you're worried about wasting anybody's time on a sales call, that is the number one way to waste somebody's time on a sales call, is to not tell them the offer. And you want to know what the thing is? It's been about 3 or 4 weeks and I still haven't heard from this person. I still don't have a quote. And now I'm being forced to look elsewhere and I'm being forced to forget about our conversation. And so it is so important to tell them what the offer includes. And inside of 5-Figure Freedom, we tell you how you should actually position the offer, what ways that you should be selling the offer, what to include, what not to include, but how to go into detail, and how to position in a way where somebody says yes on the sales call. And so to recap everything, we have triage, treatment plan, and telling the offer. So when you include those 3 simple, easy steps that don't require a sales script, you will literally triple your sales. And so inside of 5-Figure Freedom, my signature sales program, we break down this process, and you also get something called the Sales Call Clinic inside of the program, where you will actually see me do this process on a call. There are over 4 examples of me doing sales calls where you see, oh, she's in the triage, oh, she's in the treatment plan, oh, she's telling the offer, ooh, she said it like this, she said it like that. We break down specifically what I said and why I said it, where I said it, and you get to see a real life example of how sales calls are actually done. You also get to see me breaking down other people's sales calls in the program and teaching them how to say things better on sales calls so that they can transition easily from one phase to the other. So if you need help with your sales calls, make sure to join us inside of 5-Figure Freedom. You can go to diellecharon.com/free-training to get my latest training on when to enroll. I will see you there.